Purple Rain, When Doves Cry, just two songs in an award-winning catalog by Prince. His publicist confirms the legendary musician died at his home. CCTV's Mei Lee joins us live from Los Angeles with more on his life and impact. May.
Elaine, I think the world is shocked about Prince's death. He was only 57 years old, and this was very unexpected. And this announcement was made just a few hours ago. His publicist, as you mentioned, Elaine, said, "It is with profound sadness that I'm confirming that the legendary, iconic performer Prince Rogers Nelson has died at his Paisley Park residence this morning at the age of 57. No other details have been released at this point. This is what we know. Last week, apparently, Prince was hospitalized with flu-like symptoms, and they had to make an emergency landing in Moline, Illinois, as he was returning to Minnesota. He was released, and apparently the next day, 1 week ago, he actually performed, and he was reassuring his fans that he was fine and he was recovering. And then, of course, cut to today, and we hear about his death, so it's quite shocking to everyone, obviously. Now, Prince was one of the most iconic musical legends in our history, really. Huge hits like Let's Go Crazy, Kiss, Controversy, When Doves Cry, and of course Purple Rain. That's the album that he released back in the 80s that won 2 Grammys, also an Oscar because the movie was released at the same time. In total, Prince won 7 Grammy Awards, and he released 39 albums, so he was truly a prolific musician. Of course, the world is now reacting to his death. There are tweets coming out. The internet is absolutely exploding over this news. Missy Elliott has said, "This is so heartbreaking." Boy George, "Today is the worst day ever. Prince rests in peace. I'm crying." Justin Timberlake, "Numb, stunned, this can't be real." So I think this is obviously how everyone is feeling at this news. It just came as such a shock. It was so unexpected, and he was only 57 years old. Elaine.
And May, as you mentioned, he was touring, planning to travel across the country. It's even really hard to summarize his legacy as an artist at this point, but let's try.
Well, it is hard to summarize an artist of his caliber. He was truly a musical genius, but he was also a cultural icon. Remember that he really pushed the envelope, not just in his music, but his style. He was very flamboyant in his dress, the way he presented himself, the things he said in his lyrics. They were very provocative, and that's what fans loved about him. And also, he stayed relevant. Remember, his first album was put out in 1979. He was still performing to sold-out shows up to last week. So he stayed relevant over the decades, and he will truly be missed, I think, by a lot of people around the world.
All right, CCTV's Mei Lee live for us in Los Angeles.